Am I the asshole for telling my brother to stop coming unannounced and changing the locks? My brother, Chris, 27M fake name, moved in with my boyfriend, 28M, and I, 26F, 7 years ago. We took pity on him after he was kicked out of my childhood home for drug use and was sleeping in his car. At first, Chris and my boyfriend got along great. After a few years of living together, Chris became more reclusive and distant from us both. Chores were not being done around the house and I was getting sick of cleaning up after him and his negative attitude. 6 months prior to the end of our lease, I told Chris that he had to find another living situation. He did finally move out a few weeks prior to the end of our lease, and I thought we all agreed about splitting up shared appliances and valuables. One thing we did not discuss was our shared robot mopping device. We acquired this one day at my grandmother's house a few years ago. She was moving and offered it to all three of us as she would not be using it. So we brought that little robot home. This thing is nothing fancy. Just a small device you fill with cleaning solution and attach disposable mop pads. Let me be clear, in the 4 years we have had this thing, Chris has not once paid for any replacement mopping pads. Never had even turned the thing on. It was always boyfriend or I splitting the cost of pads and setting this thing up to run nightly so we'd all wake up to clean floors downstairs. Chris hasn't returned his key because he's still slowly moving things out. It's been over a month now. He always showed up unannounced to our home to gather boxes and his belongings. Sometimes we wouldn't even realize he was there while we had been out. Last night boyfriend was looking for our little robot friend as we had just gotten new pads delivered for it. Turns out after going crazy looking for this thing and texting Chris, he did take it, claiming, "Yeah, he is mine." This was the last straw. We had been so accommodating to this man for years. I just can't believe Chris had the audacity to take our beloved robotic cleaning friend without a word. I have let Chris know that we are no longer comfortable with him coming by unannounced, and if he needs anything we will look for it ourselves. I also said he can return his key to the office and we will pick it up. His response? "Stop being weird, I don't want any of your trash shit, I already had all my useful grow equipment stolen anyways, stop texting me before you make me mad." The grow stuff referred to here as indoor greenhouse and hydroponics. Which was verbally agreed for an even split of materials since both Chris and boyfriend acquired the equipment together. Boyfriend ordered a camera that will be here tomorrow. I've contacted the leasing office to make them aware of the animosity between us and requested the locks to be changed. I just want to know, am I going too far? This robot is not at all expensive, but it's more about the principle to me. I feel disrespected. We all have to see each other next week for Thanksgiving and I know it will be awkward. Not the asshole. Your freeloading brother took the final step over the line. You took in a drug user. What did you expect? Additional information. We absolutely loved this robot. One of my boyfriend and my favorite pastimes was to get stoned and watch this little guy go back and forth cleaning our floors. I almost feel like this was intentionally taken from us to prevent enjoyment and as an intentional inconvenience. Chris hasn't returned his key because he's still slowly moving things out. It's been over a month now. Absolutely not. Nope. That alone is unacceptable. Nope, 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 F that guy. Your brother's in a dollar hole who seems to have some entitlement and anger management issues. I go no contact with him ASAP. Not the asshole. Thanksgiving will only be awkward if you care. The phrase, "shut up and fuck off," is your friend. Am I the asshole for expecting not to have to pay for Thanksgiving groceries? I have never posted here before, so my apologies if I make any mistakes. I, 54 female, have been invited by a friend, 50 female, who I will call Anne, to come to her house for Thanksgiving. We all live in Italy but spent many years in the USA, and have several American friends in the area. Anne heard that I make a traditional Thanksgiving dinner at my house every year for my family and a couple friends, 6 people total. It is quite difficult to get all of the supplies here, no buying canned pumpkin or cranberry sauce. So I make every single thing from scratch. Over the years, I've also acquired all the dishes and tools and spices, no suppliers for the more exotic things, and am an all-around good cook. So Anne, who was born in China but lived in the USA for 20 plus years, asked if I would come to her beautiful, and much bigger, home, and teach her how to make the whole dinner. For a group of 12 people instead of the usual 6. I was hesitant at first, because we live a very modest lifestyle, and Anne and her British husband are very well off, but I figured it would still be fun, and I would enjoy putting on the feast for new people and in a beautiful kitchen. After I agreed, the problems began. First, Anne wanted to have the dinner on a day that isn't Thanksgiving, to make it more convenient. I decided it wasn't all that important, since we live in Italy. So it is scheduled for the Sunday prior to the actual day. Then when we were planning to meet to go shopping for all the ingredients, she asked if I could do all the shopping and she would reimburse me for her half. I asked what she meant, and she said that I'd be paying for half of everything. So not only would I be doing all the shopping, all the planning, all the cooking and teaching her as well, but now I'm expected to pay for the food? I told her I could not do this. We really don't have the budget. So now she's trying to alter the menu she agreed to: turkey and fixings, candied yams, roasted veggies, an appetizer, and pie. Really a modest dinner by American standards. She then made a comment that her friends don't eat like pigs. She then went to another guest with my recipes and asked her to prepare my pumpkin pie so she didn't have to buy the ingredients. Bear in mind, Anne and her husband are very wealthy. I'd estimate the whole dinner for 12 might cost €200 for the ingredients, and my labor Anne gets for free. She thinks I'm being stubborn and ungenerous, i.e. in AH. My family thinks Anne is taking advantage of my kindness, and her miserly ways are ridiculous, since she'd spend double that amount for lunch out on a whim. So am I the asshole for refusing to contribute to the meal or be bullied into this nonsense? My family wants me to just bow out and tell her I'm not comfortable with her attitude. I'm tempted, because this feels toxic and manipulative. Not the asshole. Sounds like she just wants you to pay and make the meal for her and her friends. She is most definitely taking advantage of your kindness and probably just wants you to cook for her. I wouldn't make the meal or pay for it if I were you. Not the asshole. I can see how it would be fair to pay for half the groceries, since you do 6 people and this would be 12 if you were joint hosting. This does not sound like joint hosting. It sounds like Anne wants to get all the accolades while you do all the work. She wants you to teach her how to make the food. How much do you bet she'll ask you to show her and she'll just observe the process? And of the 12 guests that Anne wants, are 6 of them all the people you usually have, or are more of them people she wants? If I were in this position, I'd cancel on Anne and go back to doing your own dinner. Not the asshole. Your mistake was sharing the recipes. This woman is not your friend. She wants you to pay for half the groceries for her dinner party in addition to cooking everything and sourcing all ingredients. At this point she would need to pay you the cost of a private chef to cook the dinner. Not the asshole. I lived overseas in places where you would pay an arm and a leg for Thanksgiving dinner ingredients, so I understand how expensive it can be. Sounds like she wants your expertise and labor in addition to half the cost, so I would pass. Reimburse me for her half. Hold on. Why isn't she paying for everything? You're the one doing her the favor here, and a massive favor at that. She thinks I'm being stubborn and ungenerous, i.e. in AH. That's hilarious. This person is not your friend. She's trying to take advantage of you and is a massive asshole for doing so. Even hired help is treated better than you're being treated, and they're paid. Wow. The big, brass, clankin' ones on this woman. Not the asshole. Dump her. Not the asshole. She wants you to cater and cook a full-on meal for her and her friends, and she is only willing to pay you half of what the ingredients cost. If she wants you to cook a meal for her and her friends, she needs to provide all of the ingredients and should pay you for your time. Am I the asshole for not canceling a non-refundable trip for Thanksgiving? My in-laws always do Thanksgiving the Saturday after. My husband, 28M, and I, 26F, bought tickets to a dinner theater over a year ago that are non-refundable. Almost $200. When we purchased them, we didn't realize it was the Saturday after until about 2 weeks later. I immediately texted my mother-in-law letting her know that if they did it the Saturday after this year, 2024, we wouldn't be able to make it. Texted her the 10th of November 2023. We invited them to our house for actual Thanksgiving Day as my husband and I, and kids, stay home on actual holidays. They of course complained, and my father-in-law told my husband that he knew they did Thanksgiving the Saturday after and that it seems we are just waiting for a funeral. We have a medically complex son. They live an hour away and it's hard to travel with him. Am I the asshole for not eating the cost of those tickets because they decided to still stay on the weekend even after we told them over a year ago that we wouldn't be able to go? Update. I am not at all upset that they didn't change the day. Ultimately it is up to them on when they want to host it. Personally, I just think it's not exactly fair for them to expect us to change our plans that we made over a year ago and inform them of the date. Second update. Please see some of my comments. There is a character limit on this portion. I should have checked the date, and I admit that. We haven't had a date in almost 3 years and just got excited, and I didn't think to check when Thanksgiving was. They also don't care to see or talk to us the rest of the year. It only becomes a problem on holidays. Third edit. Funeral comment was made because we aren't able to see them that often due to our son's needs and the travel with our son, that we are basically just waiting for one of them to die. He was drunk when he sent it, so that was our interpretation of it. Fourth edit. Gotta make this one short. They were reminded multiple times throughout the year that we wouldn't be able to make this year if it was on the 30th. No issues came up until 3 days ago. And we never wanted them to change the date if they didn't want to. It's up to them, and I don't expect them to change their schedule because of us. In part, the answer depends on how much $200 means to you. If you have Elon Musk money, then of course, you'd eat the $200. If you're a normal, young family, where every dollar counts, then it is really bad for your in-laws to lay this guilt on you. In my world, a good parent would be delighted that their son and his wife had an opportunity for a nice evening out. So I say not the asshole. Not the asshole. But your husband should be dealing with his parents, not you. No assholes here because you told them, but I kind of think they still have a reason to be upset. You started this story with saying that your in-laws always do Thanksgiving the Saturday after. For holiday traditions, I see dates like this as a standing, in perpetuity, appointment until you have a family conversation and change the plans, so I think it was kinda lame to change the plans without discussing it with them first and informing them after. I think this is also compounded by the fact that other people besides your family attend your in-laws' Thanksgiving, so your alternative of them coming over on Thanksgiving wasn't sufficient. Go, have fun. This shouldn't be a huge shock considering you informed them about it a literal year ago. I'm sorry, but why are you traveling to them at all? When a family member is ill, medically fragile, or frail, you travel to them. Stop making the effort for people who don't care about you, your husband or your kids. Your husband seems ambivalent about the relationship. Follow his lead. I had to do that with my mother-in-law for my husband's mental well-being, and we were friends before. She's older than me. She was a good friend but a truly awful mother. Not the asshole. So you can't make it this year, and you told them 50 weeks ago. They don't own the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's an invitation. They can still have their event. The sun will still come up, I'll bet. Have fun. Am I the asshole for not taking my stepdaughter on vacation? I, 30 female, have been married to my husband, Tom, 35 male, for 2 years. We have a 3-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter together. He has a 15-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. The custody agreement is every other weekend. Our son and daughter have never been to Disney. So this year we are surprising them with a trip. My husband, myself, and the 2 kids will be going to Disney for 5 days. My stepdaughter has been to Disney 6 times, so we didn't think she'd want to go since we had to do things the little ones can enjoy. The trip is planned for a week. She is going with her friends to a ski resort. My husband and I paid for half the trip and gave her spending money to have fun. Her mom asked my husband if he would be able to bring her the morning of the trip to the friend's house so all the girls can leave together. He let her know he couldn't since we were going to be getting on a plane that morning to Disney. Her mom said we obviously don't take care about my stepdaughter since we're not taking her, and has made my stepdaughter upset thinking we didn't want her to go. We've tried explaining that we didn't think she'd want to go on the young kids' rides and that we can't split up with her because the little ones are in the try to run in opposite directions phase. We've offered to cancel her ski trip and bring her with us, but she said she wants to do both and it's not fair for her to miss the trip with her friends. We just want some unbiased opinions. Am I the asshole? Answers to some commonly asked questions. Why are we bringing our children to Disney at this age? Honestly, we know they won't remember it, but we will, and we just want to see their eyes light up with their favorite characters and enjoy the magic. Why we wouldn't just let the 15-year-old go off on her own? My husband does not let her go alone at any theme park. We all stay together. My husband and her mom have both agreed she's not ready to be unsupervised and somewhere crowded like that. Even on the ski trip, one of the friends' moms will be there. Why can't we just do the trip on another week and have her go to both? That was the week my husband had off work and said he couldn't change it. He's also the one who decided she needed to choose one trip and not go on both. Why don't we just carve out time for her to go with her dad to do rides while the kids nap? Our kids no longer take naps. Also, my husband does not like roller coasters or rides that spin. He gets motion sickness easily. Why don't we bring one of her friends with us? That would just be too expensive. Update. My husband and I went to talk to her. I explained the things we'd be doing in Disney and that she wouldn't be enjoying it like she normally would. My husband also explained she wouldn't be allowed to go off alone and also wouldn't have anyone to ride the rides with. She did say she understood but doesn't think it's fair. My husband just explained that sometimes her and her siblings will have different experiences and that's okay. She will do fun things with her mom and we still have to let the little ones go do fun things while she's not there too. We apologized for the way she found out and told her our intentions were never to have her feelings hurt. Everyone sucks here, some more than others. You, only for not talking to her about it beforehand. Your husband bears much more responsibility for this, though, because it's his child. Stepdaughter for being, it's not fairrrrr, about not being able to go to Disney and on her ski trip, and because she probably would hate the Disney trip geared for little kids and be a pain. Speaking as a former 15-yo girl, Mostly, though, stepdaughter's mother for making this a whole thing and likely winding up her daughter to be upset about it. You planned a family trip without including a member of your family and without even telling that member of your family about it. You are the asshole all day every day. You didn't think a 15-yo would want to go to Disney? I call BS. You knew she would. Otherwise you would have asked or told her and checked your assumptions. To be clear, I'm using the plural, you, and your husband is the much bigger asshole here for allowing his daughter to be excluded. I am the oldest stepdaughter, my siblings are significantly younger than me. I would assume my stepmother hated me at 15 if this happened. Yes, your logic makes sense to adults. To a 15-year-old. My stepmom planned a vacation I couldn't go on cause she doesn't like me. You are the asshole, should have said, hey SD, we want to take the kids to Disney, but want to go to during the spring holiday you're going skiing on. You can join us or still go skiing, which would you prefer? You made the choice for her without including her even though she is part of the family. You keep saying a family vacation and you're missing part of that family. As child of a set of divorced parents with step-parents, I grew up with step-parent that did not treat me any different than the new children. Then there was the one step-parent that treated me as legal entity having to deal with me when required. Fast forward many years, and that one step-parent wants to know why I do not them around my life or my kids. If she wasn't your stepdaughter but your biological 15-year-old daughter, you would have mentioned this to her or been obligated to bring her. You and your husband took advantage of the step part of her title in y'all family. She should have been invited and asked because first and foremost she is an immediate member of your family and deserves the right to decline or whine about doing both. It does appear as though you both intentionally excluded her otherwise. She's a child, y'all are the adults. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You should have spoken with your stepdaughter before planning the trip and asked her if she wanted to go. It was an asshole move to assume that she didn't want to in moving forward without even checking. That is really hurtful. Not only did you not ask her if she wants to go but you didn't even tell her at all. She had to find out about it last minute from someone else. She may have been much more understanding if you had given her a heads up about planning it during the time she was scheduled to be gone and perhaps given her an option to cut the ski trip short to catch the last couple days at Disney. You didn't even tell her though.